Hey guys, this is Jean from Happy Indulgence and I'm back for another booktube video. Yay! So I wanted to recap October where I read 6 books. I'll tell you guys what I thought about them and give you an update of what happened during the month. By now you would have heard that I've got some new co-bloggers at Happy Indulgence, which I'm super excited about. So Isla from One Way or an author and Jenna at Reading with Jenna have joined me on Happy Indulgence, and so far we're having lots of fun. They've already added their own reviews and discussion posts to Happy Indulgence. We'll be taking alternate days, but you'll still see me around obviously, but they have been such a great help so far and it's been so much fun with them. I've also just come back from PAX Australia, which is a massive geek and gaming convention in Melbourne, and I had such a good time. Basically at PAX, you know, it's filled with all sorts of gaming. There's PC, console, handheld gaming and even tabletop, and we had lots of fun. We went 2 days this year and pretty much, you know, checked out the panels, had a look at a Fallout 4 trivia night and a little presentation they put on, and also lined up for freebies and did lots of shopping. I also came from the Great Ocean Road, which is one of the famous tourist drives in Australia. I think it was about over 2 days. We went and saw the 12 Apostles, and you know, it was such a beautiful drive along the southern coast of Australia. It was so beautiful, and if you guys ever get the chance, I really recommend that you guys go. So I read 6 books this month. There were some awesome 5-star reads and others that weren't so great, so I'll just run through them. Guess what my 5-star read is? It's Illuminae, and no doubt you guys would have heard about all the hype about this science fiction book. It's written by Kristoff and Amie Kaufman, who are both one of my top favourite Aussie authors, as you would have seen from my last video. And Illuminae is totally worth the hype, guys. I mean, the creative formatting in the book is amazing. So there's chat logs, little profiles. There's lots of blacked out words to show swear words. And then there's pictures to show the AI wording. Stuff like this, no spoilers. And the coolest part of the book is my favourite, is these ship logs that show you the attributes of a ship. It really feels like a big sci-fi space adventure. So what's Illuminae about? It's basically a story of 2 star-crossed lovers who were split up between 2 spaceships. So you've got Katie, who's stuck on a science vessel, and you've got Ezra, who's part of a battleship. And I don't want to reveal too much, but in the story they chat with each other and you get to find out so much about them just from the profiles, from the surveillance reports, and from the snarky and hilarious conversations. And there's also zombies, just picture that. So Illuminae basically features the best AI voice I've ever heard or read about, and it's just hilarious. Aiden is so funny as he snarks away with the characters that he talks to, and you don't actually ever hear from the point of view of Katie or Ezra, except for a few private logs from Katie's diary. But you sort of get to know them through, you know, surveillance logs, through their conversations with one another, and, you know, just through the AI's perception of them. And then you find out that Katie's just a really kick-ass girl who's intelligent, who's, you know, she knows what to do to get her way, and she'll do everything she can to save the people that she loves. And Ezra, he's a loyal soldier that will do anything for his friends and also for the people that he loves. And guys, this is worth the hype. You really need to read Illuminae, and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. At 4.5 stars, I have 2 new adult reads for you guys. Addicted After All by Krista and Becca Ritchie. The Addicted series is a new adult series featuring 2 adults who are addicted to alcohol, which is Lauren, and Lily, which is sex. And together they make this codependent relationship with a lot of issues. This is the third book in the series, and they've come such a long way. There's so many wonderful milestones and how they come through their addictions by supporting each other. And the supporting cast is just fantastic. This book ties off a lot of major life events, and there's just so many wonderful moments between, you know, Connor and Lauren and their bromance, and then Lauren and Reich with their, you know, prickly brotherly relationship. Lily and her sisters, Rose, which is a snarky bitch and she's hilarious, and Daisy, who's wild and free, and even Poppy, who, you know, the perfect family sister. I thought Addicted, after all, covered off so many things. There was a lot packed into here, and some of the things, like a major life event, which I don't want to spoil, sort of took a back seat to some of the other things, like the parental relationships. Overall, it was a fantastic read. I still gave it 4.5 stars. And if you guys like new adult, I really recommend this Addicted series. It's one of the best I've ever read. I'm really picky with new adult, so yeah, pick it up. The next new adult read I read was Black Iris. I've just reviewed this one on the blog, but guys, it took me ages to work myself up to this series. It's really dark and intense, and it's a revenge story rather than a love story. There's a lot happening here. So there's Lainey, who is an unreliable narrator. Everyone seems to have a different mental illness, and also Lainey has a fluid sexual orientation, so she's attracted to both men and women. And then she encounters Blythe, who is like psychotic and wild, and she's intense. Then there's also Armin, who hangs around Blythe, and he's cool, controlled, he's so handsome, and together they make this really intense, enthralling team. This story probably isn't for those who don't like dark reads. For example, there's lots of drugs, there's lots of swearing, it gets bloody at times. It's really disturbing. But guys, diversity, this is it. This is a book that doesn't come around all the time, and I really enjoyed it. My 4-star read is the first Magnus Chase book. It's called The Sword of Summer. This is the ARC version, so this isn't the final cover, but this is written by the author of Percy Jackson. Riordan is hilarious. I love this book so much. It's so different to the other books that I read this month, and it had lots of snarky banter. It was hilarious. It's set in Valhalla, and it follows Norse mythology. I didn't think I knew much about Vikings and Thor and Odin and Loki, but thanks to Marvel, I actually understood some of the references. It features a really hilarious sword character. It had a great cast of sidekicks that had me laughing so much at times. Just during the book, there were so many hilarious moments that were so ridiculous. Like, for example, one of the ways that the sword helps, it flies up a giant's nose and gets up into his brains, and they just make lots of quips later on. It's really funny, and the whole book is just filled with these hilarious and outlandish moments. Only thing about Magnus Chase is that I found that Magnus was a bit similar to Percy Jackson at times. You know, he had that snarky, hilarious personality about him. And, you know, obviously he's a boy hero. The only difference is that he's a bit older, and some of the scenes were a tiny bit more mature. And I didn't really get to see his personality other than the snarky facade that he liked to put on. I'm sure we'll find out more about Magnus in the following books, but if you love Rick Riordan, if you love the Percy Jackson series, pick this one up. It's so funny. And check out the chapter titles. You totally want the minibar key. My funeral director dresses me funny. No spoilers, Thor is way behind on his show. So lots of really hilarious chapter titles, and if you get the chance to read it, pay attention to the last chapter title. It tells you everything you need to know. Oh, and I gave this one 4 stars. The next book I read is Firewalker. I am not a fan of this cover. I mean, what is going on? Firewalker, that's what it says down there. Looking at this in the bookstore, I wouldn't even know it was the sequel to Trial by Fire. This is the first book and the second book, so they don't really match, but I really enjoyed Trial by Fire. Lily got to travel a lot of different dimensions and she got to meet Tristan and Rowan. Tristan is her best friend who she's in love with in her old world, and Rowan is her new love interest who's a warrior protector. And she becomes a witch and discovers her evil twin Lillian. Firewalker pretty much picks up where the last book dropped off. Lily is back in her old world and she wants to find out what she can do to prevent Lillian from following her. There's a lot happening here, but I was a bit disappointed because I really enjoyed the concept with the alternate dimensions and the witches. And, you know, the world of Salem and how they have will stones that help them cast magic. But in Firewalker, I found the story drag quite a bit and I just could not connect to Lily. Basically, Lily is, you know, she's a powerful witch, apparently the most powerful one of all. But this girl kept on fainting and needing to be saved by Rowan, Tristan and the other guys in her life, and it was just constantly like that throughout the whole book. And there were some scenes that made me suspend my disbelief. For example, when Lily tells her friends that I'm from the future and I'm actually a witch and you're drawn to me because of the power that we have with each other. You know, what would your reaction be? It would be, yeah, no, whatever, like I just can't even take that in right now. That's crazy. You're crazy. But no, these people were like, oh, yep, we're totally on board. We really want to get in there. We believe you. We want to help you, Lily. Man, that's just so unrealistic. And I just totally couldn't get into the book because of that. And, you know, there was this other scene where someone close to Lillian dies, someone in her family. Pretty much it's just brushed off and oh yeah, such a shame. She doesn't even check on her family, she doesn't even have any reaction whatsoever, and most of it was about the romantic love square between Lily, Rowan, Tristan and Lillian, and it was just so frustrating. Where's the story? Where's the alternate dimensions? Where's the magic casting? I'll probably continue reading the series, but I'll adjust my expectations for now. So I gave Firewalker 3 stars. It's more about the romance pretty much. The last book I read is Goodbye Stranger, and Goodbye Stranger captures a confusing time in your life in middle school, just as you're about to reach high school. It's about a character called Tabitha and her close friendship with 2 other girls, Emily and Bridge. Basically, it's about the growing pains of finding out who you are, finding out your reactions to your friends' decisions that you don't quite agree with, and finding out where you stand with your family. Goodbye Stranger had a few different narrations, so there were different point of views. There was a letter to a grandpa and there was a older mysterious narrator. I just couldn't connect to the characters because of how much it jumped around, and I found myself pretty confused at times. It's more about the experience rather than a strong plot line. If you love contemporary books, this one will be for you, but unfortunately it wasn't for me. I gave it 2 stars. It had great writing and it was really engaging, but I just need to connect to the character, guys. So these are the books that I read during October. I hope you guys enjoyed my reviews on them. So it turns out I'm really terrible at sticking to TBR lists, so I'm not going to do a TBR this month, but instead I'll show you guys what I got during the month. The November Criminals, Signs Point to Yes, which is a YA contemporary romance. The White Rose by Amie E. Wing, which is the sequel to The Duel. The Next Together, which Jenna has reviewed on the blog. The Fall, which is the 3rd book in the Twin Maker series by Sean Williams. Unbecoming, which is about family secrets. The Marvels, I can't believe I got this one in the mail. It's just such a beautiful novel. It's written by the author of The Invention of Hugo Cabret, and it's a fully graphical novel. Check it out, it's so pretty. Thanks to the publishers for sending me those books for review. Books that I won was Illuminae and a signed poster from Amy Kaufman and Kristoff, thanks to the publisher. Books that I bought included Half a King, 10,000 Skies Above. We're so lucky to have this released early in Australia. Last but not least, the Harry Potter Illustrated Edition. It looks so beautiful and I can't wait to read it. thanks everyone for watching, and I hope you liked the video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to see more. I'll see you guys next time. See ya. Thanks for watching.